Hi guys, Sean here. Today we're going to be talking about Odies Oil, or Odies Oil for the French in the audience. Thanks Kenna for that one. I use a few different finishes on my carvings, but when I have a lot of natural wood on display in the carving, this is the finish that I like to use at the moment. Just to be clear, I'm not sponsored by Odies, and this isn't the finish that I use for absolutely everything. The carving that I have here today is a golem, a cute little rock golem designed by Quebec Studio. Check him out on the Instagram link below, from an art exchange that we did. It's made from maple with the eyes painted with acrylics. It has some nice clean facets that are finished with a card scraper. For good results with Odies on a carving, it's best to either have very clean knife cut or scraped surfaces and have sanded the piece to a very fine grit. We're talking about 2000 grit, that's what I like best. To apply the Odies, I like to use an extra fine white Scotch-Brite pad because it doesn't absorb much oil and it pushes it deep down into the wood. It also gives it a little bit of an abrasive rub as well to get above that 2000 grit that you'd have used previously. Odies Oil is a hardwax oil. Hardwax oils are mixtures of natural oils such as linseed oils with waxes like carnauba wax and beeswax, which gives a smooth, low odour and safe finish. I like it because it gives a tough, polished, close to the wood finish, and it doesn't look like the piece is dipped in plastic. A lot of other finishes I find, such as like varnishes, can give a really plasticky look. Especially when I'm carving something super accurately like my Pokemon carvings, I want them to look as wooden as possible and not have them be mistaken for a plastic piece. So this is a real plus for me. The trick with Odies Oil is to use the smallest amount possible, because all of this will have to be buffed off. Apply just enough to get the wood wet with the oil, rubbing it hard and pushing it deep down into the grain, but making sure not to have any excess. This will make the buffing process more difficult later on. Around painted areas, in this case only the eyes, I like to avoid using the Scotch-Brite pad as it is slightly abrasive, and I use my fingers to apply the oil to avoid damaging the paint. You should make sure to let your paint dry completely before applying the oil, as it can easily cause the paint to run. I'm not the biggest fan of how Odies performs over acrylic paints, but with careful application in these areas it is still suitable. After letting the piece sit for 45 minutes to an hour, it's time to buff it out. This can be done a couple of ways, but I like to use a combination. Odies recommends mechanical buffing, and the easiest way I found to do this at this scale is with a Dremel with a buffing wheel. That said, a simple cotton towel or terry cloth as lint free as possible and a bit of elbow grease is all that's really needed to get a good polish. The Dremel does make life quicker as it generates more friction and heat. Around the eyes I like to use a cloth as it's more accurate, and again with the painted areas there's always a risk of buffing the paint off. This is one of the downsides of using Odies, and certainly why I'd choose to use it only on pieces that are mostly natural wood with less painted areas. Most of my pieces are like this, so this is why I like using Odies. Using the cloth helps to remove any excess oil that may be remaining after buffing with the Dremel. Make sure to avoid leaving any built up oil in cracks and crevices, as this will cloud over time, and make sure to get all the excess oil buffed off. After I've buffed everything off, that's it. This is a seriously easy finish to use and get some great results, especially when used in the right scenario. This little column is ready to be sent off to his new home. I'm always really happy with this close to the wood looking polished finish, especially on harder woods where it buffs up a lot easier. Maple especially is one where it looks fantastic. So I hope this video helped out any of you looking for a new way to finish your carvings. It's definitely a little bit different than the traditional like linseed oils or antiquing finishes. So give this video a like as it really does help others see it, and make sure you're subscribed for more wood carving goodness and new techniques coming soon. Cheers and catch you in the next one.